Class 9 Behind English, A Legend of Northland by Phoebe Cary. Thinking about the poem. 1. First, which country or countries do you think the Netherlands refers to? 2. What did St. Peter ask the old lady for, and what was the lady's reaction? 3. How did he punish her? 4. How does the woodpecker get her food? 5. Do you think that the old lady would have been so ungenerous if she had known how the St. Peter really was? What would she have done then? 6. Is this a true story? Which part of this poem do you feel is the most important? 7. What is a legend? Why is this poem called a legend? 8. Write the story of a legend of Northland in about 10 sentences. Answer. 1. The Northland refers to any extremely cold country in the Earth's North Polar region, such as Greenland, the northern regions of Russia, Canada, Norway, etc. 2. St. Peter asked the old lady for one of her baked cakes to satisfy his hunger. The lady tried to bake a small cake for the saint. 3. He punished the lady by changing her into a woodpecker that built, as birds do, and gathered scanty food by boring in the hard, dry wood all day long. 4. The woodpecker gets her food by boring holes into trees. 5. Now, the old lady would not have been so ungenerous if she had known who St. Peter really was. Instead, she would have tried to please him with her cakes for the fulfillment of her greedy desire. 6. No, this is not a true story. It is a legend. I feel that the point in the story where the old lady is changed into a woodpecker is the most important. This is because the punishment meted out to the lady teaches us the value of generosity and charity. 7. A legend is a popular story from the past which is believed by many, but one cannot prove whether it is true or not. It usually contains a message or a moral and is narrated to children. The poet himself says that he doesn't believe this tale to be true. This poem is called a legend because it preaches generosity towards fellow beings. 8. Once St. Peter stopped by an old lady's cottage because he was feeling hungry and weak after the day's fasting. The lady was baking cakes on the hearth. Since he was weak with fasting, he asked her for a cake from her store of cakes. The selfish lady tried to bake small cake, but each time they seemed too big for her to give away. Finally, she baked one that was as thin as a wafer. Unable to part with it too, she put it on a shelf and did not give any cake to the saint. St. Peter was very angry with her behavior and said she was too selfish to live as a human and have food, shelter and a fire to keep her warm. He punished her by changing her into a woodpecker that would have to build a nest to live in, bow for food in the trunks of trees. Her clothes were burned and she was left with her scarlet cap on her head as she flew out of the chimney. Even today, she still lives in the woods and is seen by all the country school boys. 2. 1. Let's look at the words at the end of the second and fourth lines, wise, snows and clouds, true and you, blue and no. We find that snows rhymes with clouds, true rhymes with you, and below rhymes with no. Answer. The rhyming words are few and through, earth and heart, done and won, lay and away, one and done, flat and dead, myself and shelf, faint and scent, from and warm, food and wood, word and bird, same and flame, wood and food. Go to the local library or talk to older persons in your locality and find legends in your own language. Tell the class these legends. Answer. Echo was a nymph who talked too much. She was very fond of having the last words. One day she spoke rudely to the great Juno, who said that for this offense Echo should never use her voice again. unless to repeat what she had just heard. But since she was so very fond of last word, she might repeat the last words of others. This was almost as bad as if Zuno and had changed her into a parrot. Echo was very much ashamed and hid herself in the forest. Narcissus, a young man who had hairs as yellow as gold and eyes as blue as the sky, a very rare thing in Greece, where most people were very dark, used to hunt in the forest where Echo was hiding. As she was peeping out slyly from some cave or from behind a great tree, Echo often saw Narcissus and she admired him very much. One day Narcissus became separated from his friend, and hearing something rustle among the leaves, he called out, "Who's here?" "Here," answered Echo. "Here I am, come," and said Narcissus. "I am come," said Echo, and as she spoke, she came out from among the trees. When Narcissus saw a stranger instead of one of his friends, as he had expected, he looked surprised and walked quickly away. After this, Echo never came out and allowed herself to be seen again, and in the time she faded away till she became only a voice. This voice was heard for many years in forests and among mountains, particularly in caves. In their solitary walks, hunters often heard it. Sometimes it mocked the barking of the dogs, sometimes it repeated their own last word. It always had a wild and mournful sounds and seems to make lonely places more lonely still.